This episode of the Turf District podcast is brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Even if you're a busy business owner with more meetings than hours in a day, you are calm and collected when you're across. Your employees can manage their own health, dental, life, and disability coverage online anytime on any device, making it easier for them and for you. To learn more and explore your options, head to ab.bluecross.ca. That's ab.bluecross.ca. Enjoy the show.
Hey, fellas, we ain't gonna ever back down from nobody. I don't care who it is. This is a brotherhood. And if we stand strong together, we can't be denied. If one of us goes down, we have another, and another, and another that's ready to fight. So let's hit this field and bang them, bang them, bang them. Somebody, light me up.
It's time to huddle up. It's the Turf District podcast. Welcome back to the Turf District, where we huddle up to talk all things Edmonton Elks and the CFL. And we're a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported, and we're also a part of the Canadian Football Podcast Network. I'm Andrew, and we are excited to have you back with us this evening. If you've downloaded the show, thank you very much. If you're watching on YouTube Live, thank you for joining us on YouTube, and don't forget to put your questions into the box below so that we can get to those with our guest. And we have a great guest this evening. But first, let's bring in the gang, starting with one superfan, Mike.
Jantlers up.
Is it Jantlers up or Jantler up? I don't know. Are we doing the hashtag or what are we doing?
I'm not sure, but there's two of them, so you know.
Oh, so it's got to be Jantlers up.
It's got to be. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll let it go for this evening. That's perfect. Yeah.
Well, thank goodness.
How are you, superfan? How was your Father's Day? And a belated Happy Father's Day to you, my friend.
Oh, and the same to you. It was good. It was great. Just spent time with the family, so just kind of hung out, enjoyed the lovely weather, and just kind of chilled. It was pretty awesome.
That's fantastic.
There might be something else in the horde coming.
Oh.
No.
How exciting.
Teaser.
Yeah. Teaser. Lovely. Oh, shoot. I left my horde item upstairs. I'll have to run up and grab that later. All right. Well, that is going to be the last that we're going to be talking about dads this show, because we got a lot of women on the show to chat to, which is amazing. So let's start with Commissioner Kayla. How are you, Commissioner?
Hello. You know, I'm good. I'm good.
Good, yeah. Have you recovered from tailgate on Saturday? Are you good? Or?
Oh yeah, there was nothing to recover from. That glass is amazing.
Oh, did you like that glass?
Oh,
wait,
nice,
nobody can see it. Hang on a second. There we go. There's the glass.
That's a shame. Oh.
Cheers.
Oh yes.
Nothing like a little Star Wars.
Yeah, that's secondary.
Oh, yours wins. Okay. That's good.
Just kidding. Only on the podcast it wins, and everyday life yours wins.
Okay, yeah. It's filled with a troubled monk Italian Pilsner that you...
An Italian Pilsner?
Correct.
Fancy.
Oh. Mama Jedi, we know where we're stopping again in Red Deer.
That's right, yeah, exactly.
You say
she's there.
Italian in front of anything, and it's already bought.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Excellent. That's good. All right, let's bring in our amazing guest this evening.
Yes, please.
Tonight we are very glad we are joined by one of the people who took part in the Women in Football program through training camp. Is now one of the football ops coordinators with the Elks, and so welcome to the district, Elisha Torraville. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're so excited that you're here because we've never had a woman on the sideline as a coach for training camp. And to me, it was just I thought this is so awesome. You don't see very much women in football, and now we're getting to see some of this, and I think it's an amazing move. So tell us a little bit, like, what was camp like for you and working with this coaching staff?
It was amazing. I think that the fact that there's not enough women is why the CFL is trying to bring this program in. Seeing is believing in some cases. And when you don't see it, it's hard to imagine it as a girl growing up. It's hard to imagine, hey, wait, I can belong on this football field. I can belong out there. I can belong in football, in professional football. So it's nice that the CFL is helping women try and find their place. Training camp was beyond amazing. I actually kind of miss it, the energy and the everyday busyness. It was Chris Hegerman, the director of football ops, and I actually had like step wars going on there a few times because it would not be unlikely that we would end up well over 20,000 steps just running around back and forth and stair goals and stuff. So there were definitely competitions going on throughout the month, I guess. But the energy is unlike anything I've ever really dealt with before. So pretty amazing.
Wow. There's such high intensity camps too. So it's not like it's just a slow day. It's a long day with a lot of go, go, go. So that's crazy to hear from the inside.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though. Like your day would basically start at 6 or 7 a.m. and it was usually 10 or 11 before we were getting out of here every night. Like they were long days, but they didn't seem long. And you would go and it would be midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you would just be going to bed and then going, okay. And you know how you like set your alarm on your phone and it's like, oh, you have 4 hours and 50 minutes to sleep. And you're like, oh no. But I would always be waking up. I don't think I actually had my alarm wake me up once that entire month because I was just so excited to get back to the stadium.
Wow.
And you're there now.
And I'm here now.
That view.
You have the best backdrop of all of us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Without question.
Bar none.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty amazing. There are definitely times where you just like take a break and look out your window or go stand up on the balcony, and it's just like it's an overwhelming sense of awe. Like it's just phenomenal. And this is one of the nicest stadiums in the CFL too, so that doesn't hurt. You can just kind of sit out there and bask in the sun, and yeah.
That's awesome. So we talked earlier, not only do you coach, but you also play football. Yeah. So who introduced you to football, and when did your passion for this game start? What's the origin story?
Well, I always grew up watching like the NFL. My stepdad always watched the NFL, and so it was always on in the background. I always loved throwing a ball. Again, there was not very many opportunities. I wanted to play in high school, and was actually told no. As a girl, you can go be a cheerleader if you want to be on the field. Oof. Yeah, it was kind of a zinger. So it was actually my husband, after my daughter was born, that reached out to Connie, like we were talking about earlier, and said, hey, did you know that there is a women's team in Calgary when we had moved there? And so I kind of started ushering Stampeder games with them and started playing and training, and it's honestly changed my life. I was going down a very unhealthy road, had 2 kids. I was depressed and gaining a lot of weight and just not happy at all. And football gave me a purpose and an outlet. And like I say, it honestly changed my life.
That's amazing. What position do you play?
I play O-line.
Nice.
I know it's not the most glorious position, but heart and soul for sure.
Yep.
We need O-line. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was going to say, we know the importance of an O-line on this team. Yeah, well, I guess you were like the everyday icebox from Little Giants. Like, you're that Becky just raring to get on the field, hey? With so little women in football, did someone did you look up to anybody, or did anyone mentor you in the role of football? Like, was there anyone that just was kind of like that superstar in your eyes that you wanted to follow?
No, there's not very many. There's Molly. She worked for the Eskimos back then, and now she's in Calgary. So I had kind of heard, snippets of her story here and there, and this Jen Walter in the States. So there are a few here and there, but there's not very many, and that's, I think, what we need to change, is that it's hard to look up to someone when there's not really anyone there to look up to. So we're all kind of paving our own ways right now, and trying to figure it out, and hopefully we can have more women in football. Like the 9 of us that got hired through the CFL program, Tanya in BC coaching. Hopefully we are starting a new movement and giving younger girls someone to look up to and different role models, for sure.
Absolutely. And I mean, I guess it doesn't really have to be a woman. Like for me, a lot of my role models growing up were men. And so that's, I guess, is there a player perhaps that you really was like, oh yeah, his style, that's me?
From a playing perspective, I've always been kind of a geeky fan of Revenberg.
Okay.
He's my guy for O-line anyways. He came to Calgary a couple times, and there's actually a picture of me getting my jersey signed because I have a Revenberg jersey. And again, loving the O-line. So the coach was making fun of us because he's like, not very often do you have a girl or anybody come wearing an O-line jersey, hoping to get it signed by an O-lineman. So they thought that was pretty hilarious.
You made history right there.
Yes.
That's not a bad O-lineman to look up to either. He's pretty good at that.
Very good.
Have you found any differences in coaching, like women versus men, or pro versus amateur, like, or is football?
Well, I haven't really been coaching a whole lot here. I'm more just absorbing kind of everything. I get to go and watch practices, and but I'm not actually coaching. I'm more in the football ops side of things. As far as coaching, like I've coached high school, and then I'm the coach of the Team Alberta U18 girls that are going to nationals in July. So trying again to get more girls into the sport.
Awesome.
That's great. So with this experience that you've had, what do you think you'll be bringing back to your next role that you happen to have, whether it's playing, coaching, administration, whatever?
I've always been a really, very specific planner. I took event management in school, thinking that was kind of something I wanted to do. I took sports management because I've always loved sports. And so it's always been a planning background. It drove my mom crazy growing up because she had to be somewhere at a specific moment in time. But definitely, like, Chris Hagerman has been amazing to work with. He's really kind of taken me under his wing and really shown me like how to do player contracts and even all of the work that goes into travel. So that's what I'm working on now, is I get to plan all the travel itineraries. So booking charter flights and hotel rooms and what goes into those hotel rooms. It's not like you just call them up and say, hey, I need 50 rooms. It's a lot more in depth than that. There's a pregame meal, there's buses coming and going to hotels, there's many logistical things that have to go into taking our team on the road. So Chris has been great in helping me kind of navigate and giving me control over some of those things, which is pretty amazing.
Excel is your best friend?
Is what?
Excel is your best friend?
Yes, there are lots of spreadsheets for sure.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know logistics is not easy because a friend of mine tried to organize 2 buses to Calgary, and it was a disaster. And it was just 2 buses going to Calgary. One of them got lost. How do you get lost going to McMahon? You have Google Maps. I don't understand.
On our first game, the driver asks, as we're trying to load up, and there's a player that is late. I won't name him, but there's a player who's late, who's often late, and
Kin. That's my kin.
and we were waiting for him, and the bus driver thinks that this is the best opportune moment to ask us how to get to the terminal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awkward.
So
You're like,
get it.
I'm already stressed, and now you're asking me that. You know?
Yeah.
Just shove him off the driver's seat. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yes, as we have the coaches in the front in the first bus going, we need to go.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So with more women in the game now, with Tanya Walter in BC, Emily Clark and Georgina Paul as officials, so you being in ops now, what's the next step that you hope to take?
It's kind of a hefty goal.
Ooh, those are good ones.
I want my name on the Grey Cup.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's a dream for sure. It's going to be a work in progress, but every step and every opportunity like this that I can take, I will, and I'll get there. I think there's one other woman. She was on the board of directors for Winnipeg, so she was the first, but gonna get my name on there somehow. General manager, I guess.
Yes. That's a good goal.
We like this. It's good. It's good to have those goals. No. But now, because you've played, you've been a fan, you've been on the sidelines, you've been in. What's your favorite part of football? Is it the strategy? Is it the hits? Is it, now that you've experienced, is it a contract side, or what's your favorite part of football?
The people. It's again, so my job is remote. I should be at home, but I'm here.
Says it all.
Yeah, it really does. The staff and the coaches that the Elks have right now are phenomenal. Unfortunately, you don't, as fans, you don't necessarily get to see the side of them that I'm getting to see, and it's pretty incredible. The players, they're amazing too. You have them stop by your office and you start making bonds with some of them, and they're all fist pounding you, and it's pretty cool. The people for sure.
That's quintessential CFL.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. Superfan, before we get into the game this week, was there any questions in the chat that we can bring to Elisha?
Yeah, let me just check here. Chris Agar is asking, saying, undoubtedly there were negative setbacks from men that feel women don't belong in football, but can you name some of the more supportive people in your football journey?
So Keith Crawford is actually my head coach. He played in the CFL. He is my coach for the Calgary Rage. He's been very supportive. He's all about women playing. Obviously, he's a head coach. He has always said that he hopes to coach himself out of a job. And so he's been really, really good. And then, like I say, getting here for the internship, I was really, really nervous. I didn't really know what to expect, as no one did with the first year of the program. I don't think, there are definitely things that will need to kind of change as the time goes on, and if they continue to run the program. G. Roy Simon has been phenomenal. He's amazing in the press. You guys get little glimmers of it here and there. He's amazing in the community, but he's been really great. While I've been here, Chris Hagerman has also been really great, like I say. And then Jones, Michael Daniels, chief of staff has been really supportive and helping as well. So they've all been really, really good here. Honestly, I have not had any bad things to say. They've all been super supportive and trying to, what else do you want to learn? What else can we teach you? What else do you want to do? Like, very great.
That could take a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how much time do you have?
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Did you have a moment at camp that it was just like, wow, I can't believe that, this is real?
Every day.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. Unlike anything before, and you have so many players here for training camp. It's died down a lot now. We still have a lot of players, it seems, but when you have that 100-person roster, you're meeting different people all the time. Like, and it's phenomenal. You meet some of your big names. Grimes is a really cool guy to hang out with, right? But you meet these people and you're like, oh my gosh. So every day.
Awesome. Was there any others in there, Mike, or should we?
I think that's it right now. There's a lot of people saying that Elisha has the attitude and desire that this team needs. Go, Elisha.
Fantastic. That's yep. No argument from us, that's for sure. So let's quickly talk about a bit of Elks news. There was a trade right after we had our show last week with Walter Fletcher going to Montreal for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That was a tough one for me. I really like Walter. I like what he brought. I thought he was exciting. So, but I mean, good for Montreal. They needed some running back help, and we'll take the picks at this point. That's all right. We also re-signed quarterback Michael Beaudry back and defensive back Nate Hamlin, and they brought in Ethan McConzo, who is the older brother of Enoch McConzo. So that's
and if you ask him, he's the bigger, the stronger, and the faster brother.
Doesn't sound like brothers at all.
No, not at all. That's great. Did you put their lockers side beside each other just so you could watch them bicker with each other, or did they?
Oh, man.
Well, Enoch was actually on the injured list, so I don't think he didn't actually get to play or whatever. But it was funny because I picked him up from the airport, so I gotta kind of get some of the backstory.
Nice.
I mean, they're side by side with their jersey numbers too, so 43 and 44.
Yeah. Perfect.
That's awesome.
Love it.
That is fantastic. I love it. Now, the home opener last Saturday, Elks fall 26-16 to the Riders, unfortunately. But I think this week we actually have some goods to talk about. It wasn't just like, wow, this is a horrible game like the week before. So, so we'll take the improvement. Elisha, as you watch that game, what are the parts that you're looking at and going, okay, that was significantly improved, or that's the part that we were really hoping would be better?
I think that there were definitely changes across the board. Our defense picked up apparently how to tackle.
Yeah. Yay!
So yay defense. I know that they were working a lot in practice on some of the things, like the coaches. Chris Jones is here from 4:30. Him and Michael Daniels are here at 4:30 in the morning, and they're still here. And I will probably leave before they leave. They're dedicated. All of these coaches are in here super early in the morning. They're watching film. They're studying other teams. They're all over it. I have no doubt in my mind that you guys will be, the Elks will be successful here. It's just a matter of trying to find those right people, right? You got to get the chemistry right. Mm-hmm. And so you may see names like Walter that you don't want to see go, but there could have been something else there that the coaches are seeing that is not necessarily prevalent in games or in fan viewership, I guess.
Okay, and that's fair. I always think about that whenever there's a trade or something. You're thinking, well, there's got to be something else, even or a release, right? You're like, that was weird. Like I thought that guy was really, but there's something else that isn't the right fit.
Mhm.
Tell me that I'm gonna get to the goods for Mike and Caleb, but I just want to know if you've experienced this because I've heard that Jones is like a encyclopedia when it comes to players, and you just say, "Here's that player," and he can like name off their 40 time and their like and what they do. This is what they do well, and and is that like, did you get to experience that?
Yeah, so actually, one of the very first things that Jones asked me to do was set up a spreadsheet that had all of the analytics from these some of the rookies that he had signed. And so what their 40 time was, what their vertical jump was, because he wants to know what makes athletes successful, right? And so he even does like personality tests on some of them that are willing to do it and stuff. Like he's all in. Like you guys have no idea how much he studies. Is insane. So yes, you could probably say, what's the guy that has a slight pigeon toe? And he would know. Like, what's the guy that can jump, this certain height and used to play for Montreal, and he would be able to give you names. Like he's very analytical and like you say, an encyclopedia is probably the best term.
Wow, that's so awesome. All right, Mike, give me your goods from this game from last week.
I'll pick one. I'm going to say our new punter, Mengel. I think he had a fantastic game. He had a 43.6 yard average net punt.
Yeah,
which is phenomenal. That tilts the field. 51 for the punt average, and then 43.6 for his net. So that's tilting the field for sure, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, no argument for. I thought he had an outstanding game. First time actually he punted it. Riley was sitting beside me and he's like, was that Lightborn? Like that was a huge punt. And I'm like, right. I know it just about hit the speaker. Like that was crazy. So yeah, I'm very impressed for first game. That was fantastic. Commissioner, what do you got?
I just want to comment too, like the beautiful spirals that those, like when you see it launch into the air, it was like the perfect cone spiral. It's just like, wow, yeah, that's nice. Beautiful. I'll say two things quickly. I saw glimmers of excellence in the offense. I mean, definitely there was struggles there, but in the third quarter and bits in the second and fourth, where Arbuckle was just on. He was getting the ball out quick. The receivers were making the catches, and it looked great. And other times it was like, what happened? Like the O-line completely collapsed and down goes Arbuckle, or just like you could just like see the absolute disaster. But then you saw these like glimmers of excellence where it's like, wow, that offense is clicking, and like they're running those plays, and like, Lawler's catching, and that catch from Arsenal. Like, yes, like this is what we want. But it was just, at least we had some. So I'll take that. Yes. Got into the end zone. I'll take that. And one guy in particular that I wanted to highlight was Nafis Lyons, because he, on one of the plays, he just came out of the backfield out of nowhere and made that tackle. It was like a botched tackle. I'm not sure who was on the rider. I can't remember. But Nafis Lyons was like, oh, no, you ain't going anywhere. I'm going to come from the backfield from the opposite side and make the tackle because I'm sick of this. And I was like, yes, that's what we need. But I have a lot more for the bad. So.
We'll get there. My good, for the first time on the podcast, we have a highlight video, which is exciting. My favorite play of the game.
I wonder.
This is shot from my seat. This is Kenny Lawler catching the ball for the touchdown. And from my seat, there was very much like, is that a touchdown? And then I'm like, oh no, it was out. And then the ref puts his hands up. I'm like, oh well, they're gonna review it, and that's not gonna count.
That is tough.
And I texted our good friend Paul and said, oh, that was so close. And he responded like, he got a foot down. I'm like, shut up, really? Like that was it's no wonder he has that contract. Good Lord, yeah. That was a ridiculous catch. And Kenny Lawler just had a great game, another great game.
Yeah.
Lots of great plays, but he also, after the game, and I don't know if anyone got a chance to watch his post-game interview, but he was upset. He was fired up that they didn't find a way to win that one, and he doesn't like losing. And
Mhm.
I'm okay with that personality. Go get it, Kenny. So that was amazing. Now let's switch over to the things that we could improve on a bit. Elisha, what did you see on that front?
Consistency with the offense again. There were definitely glimmers, and I was really impressed with how many different receivers were making plays. Right? Like usually you have one or two receivers that are making the big plays and having an on game, but I really found that they really were spreading around the love, and people were making plays all the way around the offense, which was amazing. But we need to be a little bit more consistent. There were drop passes that really didn't need to be dropped.
Yep.
There were missed tackles on defense that really didn't need to be made. They're just missed opportunities, right? Like the score of that game was not indicative of what the game was, because the game was really good. Until the end there, right? Like it was very close. It was very good. But yeah, there were missed opportunities.
Yeah,
discipline with
as we say on the podcast, push-ups. There was lots of push-ups off the hands. Yeah,
Just drive killers for sure.
Yeah. I already pretty sure I know what Mike's is, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What did you think, Superfan?
I thought it was great.
I'm sure you did. Yeah.
Being the big fan of the run game that I am, when you have someone who is paid as well as our good friend James Wilder Jr. is, and is as talented as our good friend James Wilder Jr. is, getting 8 or 9 touches in a game is just not enough. Especially when he had some runs that were stopped or even stopped behind the line of scrimmage, but he also had that 11-yard run. He had only 1 catch for 8 yards. Like, he needs to be involved in this offense a lot more. And I think it just makes the offense more dynamic, because they don't know what's coming unless you're passing the ball 8 times for every 1 run you have in the game.
Right. Yeah. And I agree. I was hoping to see more runs this week, and our prop bet last week was runs by somebody who was not a quarterback, and the over-under was at 12.5, and I win.
We had 11.
11. Yeah. So I picked the under. All right. Okay. All right, Kayla, give us one thing that you want to see on improved a little.
Ooh, one? Just kidding.
Oh, come on.
Can I just actually make a note first? That video you took when you posted on Instagram.
Yeah.
I literally have the exact same video, almost down to the time we stopped. The only way I know it's mine is because I said something.
Oh, is that right? Oh, cool.
I'll show you after. It's like the exact same length, and but we're like this.
Simpatico.
Brothers and sisters, this is what happens. Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that I guess really stuck out, I would agree with Elisha, definitely the consistency, but that kind of goes with the whole, like, you see good and then you see a lot of not so great. But what was with so many high snaps? Some of those snaps, I don't want to point fingers at like one because there's so many like dynamics that go on the line, but holy Toledo's, that was the one thing that really stuck out as far as like on the football field. Oh, gee, that really just like irked me. I was sitting there like twitching, my eye was going insane.
That's fair. But
yeah, that really irritated me.
Yeah, and the team has to work on stopping the run. Jamal Morrow had 126 yards.
Decimated. Yeah.
And so yeah, we got. You're right, Elisha. They did learn to tackle, and we just need to do a little more learning, and then we'll be good.
A little bit better.
It's getting there, right? So
game 2, we're getting there.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, improvement every game.
It's pretty hard when you come in to an organization. Like, there's so many things that are new here, right? Like, even the team, like you had mentioned on last week, the depth chart and not knowing anyone on the depth chart. And it's totally true. There is so much turnover, and it's not just coaches and staff. It is players. Like, they are trying to rebuild from negative negative points at this point, and trying to build a legacy and a championship team here again. And it's going to take a little bit of time. I think they're getting them, and every week it's a step forward. Hopefully we continue that pattern going into Calgary.
That's our hope.
But which is going to be a hard battle, I think. But the pieces and the logistics of each player and stuff are coming. They're coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one bizarre thing I just want to talk about. Holy, the penalties.
Yes.
Now, I understand it was Al Bradbury, but holy cow,
Yeah,
that's a lot of penalties.
As soon as we saw him there, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a long game.
Well, as soon as they announced it at the beginning, actually, we're sitting in the stands, and it comes up on the screen, and your head ref is Al Bradbury, and both Riley and I look at each other like, really? Like,
Check
really?
your watches.
Yeah, that's okay. Anyway, that was a lot of penalties. Holy man, on both sides. But I mean, Saskatchewan really tried to give it all away, but they need to smarten up, those guys over there. Jeez.
But wasn't it better than the last game? Like, we had fewer.
Oh, we had fewer.
Oh yeah, much.
It was
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, you mean overall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moncrief got 45 yards of penalties and kicked out of the game. Like that's a lot. Yeah. Holy cow.
The only bizarre thing I noticed was we had their touchdown was run out of a double power I with two fullbacks and a running back in a Jason Moss offense. Where was that the last 4 years? I'm just saying. Like, wow. Just watching them line, and one of them was our fullback the last couple of years too, and James Tuck. I'm like, come on,
Mike.
I want one wishbone. That's all I
You
want.
have the chance.
Just saying.
Just tell Alicia. Now's the time.
There we go.
If you could just suggest a wishbone for Superfan Mike at some point. Oh my God, it would make his entire year if you could just say.
Let's be honest.
Okay, excuse me, Coach Jones. If you could just run one wishbone play for Superfan Mike, it would be great.
Okay. I will add it to my meeting topics.
Excellent. Slip it into the spreadsheet.
That's right.
just quietly slip that in there.
Right.
What is this play we're practicing? Exactly. Oh, no, nothing. Just do it. It's good.
Just try.
It's 1976.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
Why not?
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay, Mike, do you want to do a quick hoard and tell before we talk about this week's game?
Sure. This one is something that came for Father's Day yesterday. This came from the women's dinner, and my better half got into a bit of a bidding battle because it was an auction with one Jake Serezna. So, seeing as Jake is slightly taller than Chantel, who's 5'2",
she could take him.
Yeah, he didn't have a chance. So this is what I got yesterday morning, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, it's by a company called PTN, I think. PTN Products. They're on Instagram. Just absolutely gorgeous piece out of wood and then carved and painted and super heavy, but it's going to look fantastic somewhere back there. But it's one of the first things I have that's got the new Elks logo on it. So I'm absolutely thrilled with it.
Awesome.
I saw that on their Instagram and I was like, oh,
this is the
Lord.
one. Yep. So sorry, Jake, but it's mine now.
Yeah. It's mine now. Get out, Jake.
That's right.
Wait, what? That's not what I meant. Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, you can say, but
lovely.
You
yeah. I can say it because I'm here and he's not here.
Right.
I mean, I saw him in the store the other day and I'm like, oh my, hi. I promise I'm a friend. Yeah, because wow.
You just got to go quick and under. You got to be speedy.
Title of the podcast, Quick and Under. Okay. Okay, let's go to let's set up this week's game, shall we? This is an exciting one. Elks travel down to Calgary. It's going to be a Turf District field trip. The family and me and my family are headed down, along with Tree and Linda and a bunch of other gang. To sit down in row 10 and cheer on the green and gold in the wonderful confines of McMahon. Elisha, you live there, so which team are you cheering for?
Clearly the Elks.
Okay,
Oh.
good answer. Good answer.
Smart person.
Well, even before this, I was not necessarily a Calgary fan. I'm just CFL fan. I did have another team before that, but it's all Elks now.
Oh,
Nice.
pray tell.
Yeah, who did you cheer for before? You can say, it's okay.
So again, my husband was a big push and a big supporter in getting me into football, but he is now solo on his adventure, but huge Ticats fans.
Oh, okay.
Hence the Revenberg comment.
That's
Right.
fair. I kind of figured that's where we landed, but that's all right.
Yeah.
That's again not a bad team. Not a bad team.
Anything east of Winnipeg's probably pretty good. Yeah,
we don't have any problem with any of those.
that's right.
That's how that works. All right. So Calgary, of course, is coming off that 33-30 overtime win. Curses that they should not have won. That was absolute. Hamilton should have totally won that one. So my question is, could we please have more first half stamps from last week? That would be great. We would appreciate that. But going into this game, Elisha, what are the keys for the Elks as they take on the Stamps?
I think this is going to be a hard battle. I think we saw glimmers of what it could be in preseason, and I really hope that that's not going to happen, that the last few weeks we've learned some lessons and grown. And I know we have grown as a team. I hope it capitalizes on the field. I think if we play a clean game and we actually get out there and play, we want to play, and not playing, I don't know, cautious almost. Like, it's almost like sometimes the players don't want to be on the field, and it's like, you really want to find those players that want to be on the field and have the aggressiveness to be out there. So I think if we can get out there and play aggressive football and do the assignments that the coaches have told us to do, I think clean, hard, fast football, we could be in it.
Fantastic. Commissioner, let's go to you this time. What do you think?
Sure.
Keys to the game.
Well, I guess it would just be, again, I don't expect to win, but I'm hoping for progression. So in the ways of consistency and just playing as a team, and Elisha touched on that, is you want those players who want to be there. And getting to sit in Matt and Michelle's seats, I really watched the sidelines and I really watched the players and how they were reacting to the game. And boy, you can tell the ones that are invested and the ones that were just giving up. And it's really disheartening. And big shout out to James Wilder. Boy, that is like the biggest cheerleader you'll ever see on the sidelines. He was like loving every second and cheering on his teammates. And you want that. I want that. I want that team dynamic, like just that incorporation of, let's throw an Odell Willis back in there because we need something like that. We need that spark and that energy. And you can kind of see it, but it really lapses throughout the game. And I really want some vibrancy. And I think that if you can incorporate that into your game, play like a team, you're going to see progression and not just these bursts of goodness, right? You want to see a whole game of it. But it's in Calgary, so I'm not holding my breath, but I hope to see progression.
I forgot this when we were talking about the other game, or the last week's game. Can we have Odell be the hype man at every game? Oh man, that was
Recently signed Odell Willis.
Goosebumps.
He needs to just come out and hype up the crowd before every kickoff. Let's go. He's amazing.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, he
more
actually said
tips,
that.
Alicia.
Yeah.
Put that
Yeah, more
hire
tips, yeah.
Odell Willis as hype man.
That's right, man. Move them up to business ops game day.
Whatever it takes.
That's
I'd
right.
pay for it.
I want
Add
to
an
see
extra
him
$2
work with
on my
Nick
ticket.
every day. That'd be great. Yeah. Poor Nick, so loud. Anyway, but it would be crazy. Like, I would love that. It was fantastic. All right, Superfan, keys for you.
To me, the game is always won and lost in the trenches. We're going to be getting newly married Mark Horty back, so I think that's going to help. Not that Tomas Jakradila, I think, had a terrible game. It's just when you've got someone who's an all-star and certainly one of the highest paid and one of the most talented guards in the league, having him back only can help your offensive line. Watching Tony Washington back in at left tackle, I thought he had a great game. So I think that helped a lot. On the defensive side of things, we actually got and pressured the quarterback and got some sacks in this game. And if we can get that improvement on both sides of the ball again, I think that's going to go a long way to keeping the score close, or even taking that lead to the final whistle.
Yeah, I love it. And I'm going to continue with the 3-4 defense, because holy cool, was that neat to see. And they were, I was very, very happy watching that, because to me, a 3-4 takes me back to when we used to run that. And you have those linebackers that just come from every spot. And if you can get pressure 3-4, like to me, that's like, then your defense is coming together, and I just love the fact that you just don't know where that fourth guy is coming from. So I want to see more of that, and I want to see them get to Bo. And anytime Bo gets hit is a great day for us. That's great. Yeah. Not
is anyone coming off the injured list? Sorry, do we know?
Bo?
Who's that?
Is anyone coming off the injured list?
Oh, we haven't had an injury report as of yet, so not sure. No. So we'll know more
after tomorrow. Oh, there wasn't, like, I'm looking at it, but it doesn't say like the 6 week or the one week. I can't find that. So
okay.
I was just wondering
There's definitely some movement that's happened.
Okay. Thanks, Elise.
Okay.
Ooh, there's
and there will continue to be movement happening here over the next little bit.
I love that sly little smile you just came in with, like there will be some movement. Don't you worry.
That was a Turf District exclusive. You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's go. So, Elisha, we do pick'ems here for all of the games, but we never pick against the Elks, and so we have a prop bet for the Elks that we do at the end, and usually we let our guest pick what stat we're going to prop bet on. So we'll pick all the other games first, and then you can, if you come up with a stat you want us to throw a bet on, we'll have some fun with that. So, but we'll give you some time to think on it. So our games this week, we've got Saskatchewan traveling out to Montreal for Montreal's home opener on Thursday night. We've got Hamilton versus Winnipeg, and that one is back in Manitoba. And then we've got Toronto traveling all the way out to the West Coast to take on the BC Lions. So Superfan, let's start with you. Who do you have in these three games?
Okay, so last week, I sort of predicted the away teams to be winning all the games, obviously except for ours. While I had the home games in the first week, I think this is going to be a bit of a mix. I had Montreal is still a little lost, I think. There's a lot of pressure going on there right now, but I think it's almost getting to a must-win territory, so I think they're going to come back strong. They're going to take it over Saskatchewan. Hamilton and Winnipeg, I think Hamilton's starting to find their groove. They're getting a lot of confidence, even though they sort of didn't do so great in the second half of that game. So I think that they're not going to let that happen again. They had that chance to get a field goal on 3rd and 2, and they ended up gambling and lost. Had they got that field goal, we probably don't go to OT, etc. So they're learning from that. Whereas Winnipeg has been good, but not the powerhouse beasts that we were expecting them to be. So I think they are ripe for Hamilton to come in and take that one. And then Toronto and BC, I think that Toronto had their emotional win with that missed field goal at the end there in Toronto. But I think BC with the week off, and a lot of people still not having a ton of film on BC. So I think that BC is going to take that one at home.
All right. Commissioner?
I'm basically the exact same as Mike.
Really?
One, because I can't pick against Montreal, and I am in the same boat where I think that it's come down to the point where we are like we need a win to actually prove that our season is worthy. And I'm more curious to see that who's going to start for the Alouettes. That'll be interesting. I love both guys, so I'm happy either way. But yeah, same with Hamilton and Winnipeg. I agree. Winnipeg's looking a little stunted, and Hamilton is Hamilton. They just always find a way to claw their way through a game. And I think this one will be the exception where they pull one out. And Toronto, this is the one I was a little bit. Toronto's always like that. Every time I pick against them, they win, and every time I pick for them, they never win. So I am actually not a big.
See then, because
I am.
oh,
I am.
Okay, great.
But I'm picking BC, but I'm also not a big believer in them yet. I mean, they won against us. That's not saying much, and they're giving like all these like accolades and stuff, which is phenomenal. But it's one game. I mean, come at me when there's 5 and they're winning like that, then I'll be like, okay, I get BC's going far. But right now, I'm like, meh, sure, they're fine. But they played against the Elks, like. Hold your horses.
In week 1 might be different when we play them next.
Exactly.
Yes. All right,
Hopefully.
Elisha, who do you got in these ones?
I don't know. I like Saskatchewan's defense mainly because it's very much like our defense, except more developed, I guess. Right? Like if you think about it, I believe it's still Jones's defense hanging out there a little bit. So I would say Saskatchewan. Hamilton, Winnipeg.
It's okay.
It's not what she likes.
Hamilton, Winnipeg. I don't know. I'm really scared that this Hamilton team is like the Hamilton team a few years ago that could never finish a game. They would come out and play 2 quarters of football all the time and be up by extraordinary amounts, 24 points, and then I don't know if they lost their cleats at halftime or didn't get a Snickers or what, because and that's the Hamilton team we saw a few years ago. So I'm kind of worried on that one. But like you say, Winnipeg is coming off of their Grey Cup high. I think they're good. They're not great. They've lost some key players, right? That's what happens when you're at the top for a couple of years. You start to dissolve. So I will say Hamilton, mainly because that's more heart. I am not picking BC because of the other week. I honestly think that it was not BC at all. I think we lost that game. There were a lot of logistics, again, in the background that you guys don't all know about that really got us off on the wrong foot and really, I think, put us almost in like a frazzled or not frazzled's maybe not the word, but it was just one little thing on top of another little thing on top of another little thing that was happening in the background that I'm not making excuses, but they offset your whole, like mental preparedness going into a game. And so I think that there was some things there, although I don't like Toronto necessarily. So that one.
Says the Hamilton fan. That's
Former.
I'm all Elks now.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Former. Sorry, I should have said that.
Nobody. But she's got to go home. So
So I will take Toronto just because.
All right. I love it. Okay, so I have vowed this year to never pick the Riders, so I'm picking Montreal because I hate the Riders and they need to lose every game. So go Montreal.
Fair enough.
Great. See, that was my promise. I did not say anything about the Stamps. I said I'm not picking the Riders this year. Who'd
you pick last week?
You switched it? I thought it was the Stamps. You were never picking the Stamps.
No, I was never picking the Riders. Is what I said in week 1. I'm not picking the Riders at all this year. So who did I pick last week in the pick'em?
Yeah. Anyway, who do you got in the next game?
Correct. Next game in Hamilton versus Winnipeg. I am going to say that Winnipeg wins that at home because they just find ways to win at home. I hate it, but they just find ways to win at home. and hopefully my pick'em streak continues and I'm wrong and they lose anyway. And then Toronto versus BC, I am also going to take the Argos. I do think that they had their like third preseason game last week, and now they know what they need to do, and so I think that they will play better out there. I'm gonna take the Argos on that one.
It's the 3 time zones that always tends to kill people going from the east to BC.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
All right, Elisha, what's our prop bet on this evening?
So last week we had rushing attempts.
Yep.
So what do we have this
by
week?
a quarterback.
Yes.
And then the week before, did we have touchdowns? We had touchdowns by the Elks was the week before.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't compare them to the other team. It's
No,
not like
this
who
is
has
just
more...
what they do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's if you picked like Lawler receiving yards, or you could pick Arbuckle throwing yards, or you could pick sacks, or you could pick touchdowns again, or
Sacks against
field goals, or sacks against, like any of those.
Offensive linemen. I mean,
how many times does Sergio get a field goal? He's the
I
greatest.
was so happy he got player of the game.
Yeah.
Seriously, he's like the best dude ever. I was like, yes.
we all love
so
Sergio.
awesome. Yeah, and it's the greatest
So
gif
happy.
ever.
He was also on the Tie Cats, so I'm glad that he's coming this way now.
That's awesome.
Let's go sacks against.
Sacks against.
Says the offensive lineman.
Because
Calgary's D line is pretty good.
It is pretty good. It is pretty good. Okay.
So our O line is going to have to be like top notch.
All right. So let's go now. In the first game, we gave up 8
A few.
sacks.
It was
Yep.
8.
And last Saturday, we gave up 4. So I am going to set the line at 4.5 for sacks against that Calgary D line. So, Elisha, we'll start with you. Over or under 4.5 sacks against?
Ugh. Where it's like, my mind is saying one thing and my heart is saying another.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, please be less than 4.5.
Of course. I mean, that's what we all hope. And that means the line was set right. If your head and your heart are on opposite sides, that means it was set exactly where it needs to be. So
Yeah. I think over.
Okay. Kayla.
Oh crap! I was just gonna look something up. Does that coach tend to favor blitz?
He doesn't have to. His front four is really good. Mike Rose
Like
gets
he's
through a
got the
lot.
Mike Rose, the all-star,
Correct.
and Wiggins.
That's true.
I'm just thinking it depends. Like if, I could go on to a whole spiel. Probably over. But
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Super fan?
I was actually going to say 5 for this game. I was hoping you were to do 5.5 and I could be under. But yeah, I'm trying to think in their last game, how many sacks did they have? I think they only had 1, didn't they?
What's that? In Calgary?
2.
really,
Last week they only had 2
Yeah.
against Hamilton?
1 or 2, yeah, that I can think of. So I'm going to, you know what, damn it, I'm going to say under. I'll say 4.
ooh,
Oh, you stole my thunder. Okay, I'm saying under too. I'm
There
saying
we
under
go.
too. I'm saying the return of Cordy and Mark and Tony Washington being there at the same time. I'm saying 3, maybe 4, but they won't go 4.5. It'll be.
I'm gonna go make the O-line some cookies and try and pump them up before Calgary.
Outstanding. You really have talked to Connie.
That's, that's,
That's my goal for the next couple of days: is go treat the O-line good.
Yep.
That is fantastic. That is awesome. Yep. Come on, guys. You can do it. We have faith. All right, on the fantasy football side, in the Canadian Football Podcast League, Mike was on bye last week, so he gets the easy win because he didn't play anybody. I took down Podski Mike from Podski Wee Wee, so I move up to 2-0. But this week, it's the Battle of the District. And
it's true.
It's me versus Superfan. Jugsman versus Superman. It's
true.
Yeah. Be fun. Wait,
what did you just
versus
say?
Superfan. I had to change it up. I got it all mixed up. But yeah.
What did you say? His secret desire is to one day run the Jugs machine.
That's right. I think the Jugs machine is the greatest thing ever, and I just want to shoot the footballs up in the air, and it'd be so much fun. So
we're talking about cans last week. I just like
so Jugsman, Superfan. Over there.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Again, I'm waiting for that comic.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did all right this last week. I didn't have to play against anyone, but I was finished in the upper half, so I'll take it.
That's right. That's all that matters. So this is the only week that we can't share our lineups with each other until after we start playing.
Right.
You guys need to like banter on Twitter and have some like good back and forth. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. We'll see if we can.
We'll see what we got.
Yeah, not really big. Alicia, I don't know if you're an O-lineman. Maybe you can help me with trash talk. I'm not good at it. So I gotta...
Boy, you suck.
Where's Odell?
There.
So actually, the Tanya also played. She played for the Edmonton Storm. And we actually spent the last couple of years lined up against each other because she was playing defensive end and I was playing tackle. Okay. And she can trash talk like I've never heard before. I'm serious. She gets under people's skin and can rile people up like nobody's business. So if you ever want tips on trash talking, just tweet out Tanya.
Okay.
That's awesome. Oddly enough, Coach Vic, who's in the chat, he coaches in Sylvan. One of the girls that I coached just made the national women's team heading to Finland from the Edmonton Storm, Bailey Kennedy. So
that's
awesome.
Oh, that's
fantastic. So that's pretty awesome.
Very cool.
Very cool. Well, Coach
There are a few Albertans, not very many, but
nope. We'll take it.
Coach Vic changes lives, I tell you. That's
true.
What he does. He's an amazing man, one of the best hugs I got last Saturday for sure. It was nice to see him again. So that was fantastic. This show is also brought to you by the Edmonton Community Foundation. The foundation acts as a bridge between donors and charities to create a strong, vibrant community for generations to come. You can start an endowment fund yourself or with a group. Once it reaches $10,000, it can start distributing funds. Vital Signs is an annual checkup conducted by Edmonton Community Foundation in partnership with the Edmonton Social Planning Council, and it's to measure how the community is doing. This year's focus is on making ends meet in Edmonton. You can learn more at ecfoundation.org. That's ecfoundation.org. Well, Elisha, I'm so glad that you came on to tell us about your experience and be part of this, and of course, give us the Turf District exclusive, which is fantastic. We appreciate that, and it was so fun to talk to you. Are you going to stick around for overtime?
Sure.
Awesome.
Ooh,
awesome.
Our first guest on overtime.
I know, guests on overtime. This is gonna be great. All right, so tell everybody, where can they find you on social media and things if they want to interact and hear more of your stories?
I'm on Twitter, just Elisha Torraville without an E on the end. I'm also on Instagram. But most of my stories lately have been about the girls' football and stuff. But yeah. So I'm just Alicia.t.63 on Instagram.
Fantastic. Commissioner, where does everybody find you?
Well, first, apologies. I've been calling you Elisha.
It's okay. I don't even notice. You totally could have flown right under the radar on that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you know what? I always put my foot in my mouth, so why not now?
You beat me to that apology because I was just going to say the same thing. So, okay. Yeah.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Duchess Lombardi.
Outstanding. Super fan.
You can find me at 56 Parkies, and then some stuff about football history you can find at the Edmonton Football History Twitter page. Probably some more Horde items coming as well. That's at EDMHISTOREE.
Lovely. You can also find Mike losing in fantasy this week if you look
Nope.
closely. How was
Oh,
that?
it's
Was that good
not.
trash
See,
talk?
you're starting. You're not that bad.
That was not bad? Okay, that was pretty good. Okay. You can find me at FreePolicious, where I tweet out all of my trash talk to Superfan, which is going to be outstanding. So find it there.
Hopefully it's better in your game.
Oh, well
There,
done.
see?
Well done. Exactly. Yeah. This is going to be fun in overtime, isn't it? Okay. Our Alberta Podcast Network shout out this week goes to the Read Along. It's a mini book club for your ears. Scott and Anita Bourgeois go on a weekly chapter by chapter journey. You can find them and all the other great shows at the Alberta Podcast Network.com. Not bad, eh, Mike?
That's excellent.
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
the best part of your week.
After my win. You're right. Yeah. You also make sure you're following our friends at Pay It Forward with Football. They are taking people to games and, of course, making a difference in spreading kindness in the world. So follow our friends there. Join us in the huddle as well at the Turf District. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we now have our own link for YouTube so that you can actually join into the YouTube chats. And please share that so that other people can join us for these wonderful Monday night chats. And that is youtube.com/c/the Turf District podcast. Now, it may switch to just the Turf District, but we're working on that. But for now, it says the Turf District podcast. So make sure you line it up that way. That'd be perfect. We'd love for you to join us. We will be back in just a couple minutes for overtime, but otherwise we will be back next week to talk all about the Turf District field trip to Calgary and how we finally beat them in McMahon and how excited we are about that. In the meantime, for Elisha, I got it right that time. For Elisha, Commissioner Kayla, and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you in a few moments or next week.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.